Well, the leaders of 40 countries have committed to supporting Ukraine through its long and what will be an expensive reconstruction as Russian forces continue to destroy infrastructure around the country. The cost for rebuilding now stands at least $750 billion. And delegates at a two-day conference in the southern Swiss city of Lugano have laid out a set of principles for helping the war-torn nation. Trent Murray joins us live now from Berlin for more on this. Trent, Switzerland's president, Ignacio Cassis, has hailed the Lugano Declaration as a key first step on what is going to be a very long road for Ukraine's recovery. We're not even out of the war yet. What's significant, though, about the plan?
Well, I think, Dawn, for the first time, what we're seeing is a pen being put to paper with signatories officially declaring that they will help Ukraine with its reconstruction effort. But it is an extraordinary amount of money, as you say. $750 billion is what Ukraine is saying. They say already $100 billion worth of direct damage has been carried out. But they did come armed with a plan of how they would spend that money. They said their immediate focus in phase one would be getting essential services back up and running, like electricity and water supplies. And then once fighting dies down in certain regions, that's when they would look to spend money on things like temporary housing and rebuilding schools and hospitals. So I think this is, as the Swiss are saying, an important first step. I should stress this isn't an actual declaration of money or an immediate promise to deliver all of that money. There's still a lot of work to be done actually working out how you fundraise this large sum. But you effectively have now got some of the big players of both politics and international finance joining that signatories, joining that document to say they will work with Ukraine to help rebuild. Organisations like the OECD and the European Investment Bank. So I think Kyiv will be quite happy with what they've seen today. But of course, it is a very, very long road ahead for them. I think right now the immediate concern is still their gains and their advances and counteroffensives on the battlefield. But for the Ukrainian people, the Swiss and many other NGOs there say this document is really important about showing that there is a future after this war and that the world will stay with them, if you will, to help them rebuild their country after what has been a devastating few months.
Now, for those countries that support the rebuilding, the details are going to be important. And Ukraine's Prime Minister, Denis Shmyhal, well, he wants to quickly implement the country's reconstruction plans, of course. But this Lugano Declaration, it does require Kyiv to first commit to a few things, to reforms and transparency. What does this mean, though, Trent?
Yeah, it does. And it's very similar, I would say, almost to Ukraine's application to the European Union. Effectively, there is a signal that, yes, things are looking good, but there are strings attached. We're not just going to hand over a blank check, if you will. Essentially, what this declaration out of Lugano is saying is that money will be there to help you reconstruct, but you also need to make some progress in a few key areas to satisfy us and people that are providing the money. They say, particularly the European Union is saying they need to make progress on areas like rule of law, reining in oligarchs, fighting corruption and ensuring fundamental rights. Very similar themes to what the EU is after as part of its application. So I think still a long way to go. An immediate declaration is here, but they want to see some steps out of Kiev in order to make progress over handing that money.
Yeah, some important first steps, though. Trent, thank you very much for that. Trent Murray in Berlin.